Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Germany, and we've got something that doesn't kind of fit into the traditional bracket of German beer actually, so I'm really interested to try this one because this is a gypsy brewer, the first gypsy brewer I've heard of from Germany actually. So for this one we are going to go to Himburgs BrauKunstKeller, which if you translate it into English is literally Himburgs sort of a brew artistry or brew craft cellar, and this one is their Bavarian, which is a dry hopped lager at 5.3%, and interestingly this is rated as one of the top 50 premium lagers in the world according to Rate Beer, so it should be really nice. I have to admit I'm a big fan of some of these craft lagers that are out there, the sort of hopped up lager beer, so really looking forward to this one and I hope you guys enjoy the review as well. And if you're particularly interested in these sort of new style American breweries that are popping up in Germany, a channel you might want to check out is that of my friend Peter, the Clueless drinker. He reviews a lot of these kind of American style breweries that are popping up in Germany these days, and apparently they're producing some really quite interesting and unusual stuff, so do make sure you check out the link to his channel in the description below. He's a very nice chap and he's always got quite funny things to say in his reviews as well, so do make sure you give him your patronage. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller. Like I said, very first time I'm trying one of their beers. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the German beers that I've reviewed for you before, and that's constantly being added to of course. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review, especially when it comes to these kind of new wave American style German brews. It'd be great to hear from you guys about some of that. You can check out Peter's channel as well if you're interested in that, like I said, but the support and the input that you give to the channel is always hugely appreciated, so don't hesitate to get in touch through the Facebook, Twitter or Untappd, whatever you like. It's always great to hear from you guys. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Himburgs BrauKunstKeller then. So this company is a German gypsy brewery that's headed by Alexander Himburg, hence the name of the company of course, but he's actually a native of Berlin but studied biology in Ulm and later went on a brewing and malting course, and that was really where he found his love of craft beer. So they originally brewed their beers in Michelstadt in Germany, which is very close actually to Darmstadt, Würzburg and also Heidelberg, where I used to study, hence why I have this. But it's an area known as the Odenwald. I think Odin's Forest is the best way to translate that into English, but the Odenwald actually straddles Baden-Württemberg, Bavaria and also Hesse, but Michelstadt is actually in the very southern part of Hesse. So Alex originally had a company that was simply called BrauKunstKeller, but this company filed for bankruptcy in late January of 2016. But the original company had actually been a joint venture with Michelstadt Brauerei, but Alex is actually now separated from them, and this is why he has the new company which is called Himburgs BrauKunstKeller, and he now has an agreement with the Hofmark Brauerei in Loifling, which is actually in northeastern Bavaria, very close to the Czech border. So that's where the majority of these beers are actually brewed these days. But as I say, it's a German gypsy brewery. He doesn't really own his own brewery and moves around a few different places, but most of his beers are brewed in Loifling in which is very close to the Czech border. Like I said, they've got a few different beers and they are planning to add different ones according to the articles that I read. So just to list the other beers you can get from these guys, of course you've got this guy here, the Bavaria Lager. You've got the Amarsi, which is a double IPA. That's one that I know Peter has reviewed on his channel before. There's the Mandarina, which is an IPA. Also Laguna, which is another IPA. And they also have their Pale Ale as well. And all the artwork that you'll see on these bottles is fairly similar. It's just a different colour depending exactly on what beer you have. But from what Peter was saying, the Amarsi is a really quite interesting beer. It's the sort of closest thing Germany has to some of these kind of American style double IPAs. So really quite interesting brewery, this one. And like I said, there's a lot of these American style breweries popping up in Germany. So it's really quite cool to see the kind of traditional German brewing, if you like, combined with the kind of the sort of more random and kind of experimental side that's going on in America now. So hopefully there'll be some really quite interesting things pop up out of Germany in the near future. So yeah, that's enough about the brewery just now. If you want to learn more about them, of course, do check out the links that I've put in the description below and you can find all that extra information. Like I said, do make sure you check out Peter's channel because he reviews these kind of things a lot more regularly than I do, of course. So yeah, I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up, and I can tell you the specs of the beer as well. So there you can see it is quite nicely presented. wanted this one. It really does have just a nice kind of simplistic style of artwork. I really like that, and like I said to you, the other ones that this brewery do, they all have a very similar style of artwork, but just different colours. There you can see the hop flower on the bottle cap in this one, and just to sell you the malts that are in this one, it's Pilsner, caramel and acidulated malt, so it should have a little bit of an almost Britannomyces type flavour to it in the malt base, this one, and it's got Citra, Simcoe, Pearl, Hallertau Mittelfrüh, basically Hallertau Mid-Spring, and Hersbrucker, and also Smaragd hops as well. Smaragd hops, from what I understand, used to be called Emerald, but all of them are German hops, of course, except the Citra and the Simcoe. So this one should have some really nice sort of noble hop qualities to it. So definitely looking forward to this one, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on it as well. But it should be served between 6 and 9 degrees, which I'm pretty sure it will be. So without further ado then, let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting then. Really looking forward to this one. So yeah, as you can see, a nice smoky opening on this one. This beer, of course, was one that we got in the små partiers through System Bolaget up here in Sweden. And I've heard good things about this one as well. It's just taken me a little bit of time to actually get round to publishing this video on the channel for you. So I hope you guys do enjoy this review. But as you can see, this beer is poured actually a very, very hazy, kind of bright, goldeny yellow colour. You could mistake that for being one of these, kind of being an IPA almost. It's that hazy. I've never seen a lager that's quite as bright as that, to be honest with you. So that's really quite interesting. There's a solid finger and a bit of a frothy, definitely perfect white head on this one. It looks very, very nice. Some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head there. So looks very, very nice. You can see a few little bits of sediment just floating around in the glass in this one. And if I put my fingers behind it, of course, you can see some of the you can see there is a degree of transparency to this beer, but mainly it is quite opaque. So yeah, it looks very, very nice. So anyway, let's have a closer look at the aroma of this one then. I should say that when you open up the bottle, you can smell some of the Simcoe and particularly the Citra hops actually coming out of this one. You can smell these nice mangoey and lighter tropical fruit notes. So let's take a closer look at the aroma of this one then and just see how we get on. Yeah, really, it's the two American hops that are coming to the forefront in this. It smells very, very fruity. I'm guessing the other hops they're the ones that the beer's actually been brewed with, and then these have been added, the dry hopping's been done at the end, and that's why it's mainly an American hop aroma that's coming out of this one. So yeah, a nice bit of mango coming out of this one. You really can smell the mango in this. And there's a bit of passion fruit just under there as well. The passion fruit, of course, comes from the Simcoe, and the Citra, of course, is the one that gives you more of the mango and the sort of lighter tropical notes too. If you go a bit further back from it, you can get the sort of gooseberries and kind of lychees thing coming out of this beer. But it does smell really quite nice. It really is very, very fruity and quite juicy. If you take it in a bit more deeply though, you can smell a little bit of the sort of tart. You can smell a little bit of that tart, citricy character that comes out from the acidulated malts that they've put in this beer. You can smell just a little bit of that, but there's some grassy and kind of floral notes. It's got a bit of a noble hop character to it, you know, the typical sort of floral thing, a little bit of lighter grassy notes, and then just a teeny bit of earthiness. I always find these German hops, of course, give you just that little touch of earthiness, and they are very, very nice. But you can smell a little bit of bready and almost biscuity sweetness just underpinning the beer as well. But it's actually, you know, if you think about a lager, this one has a hell of a lot more going on in the aroma than you would normally associate with this style, so it should be really nice. Like I said to you at the start of the video, I always really enjoy these kind of craft takes on lager beers. They can turn out very, very nicely, and this one is very, very highly rated, of course. So yeah, let's get stuck into this beer then. So this one is the Bavarian, a dry hop lager from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller, one of the gypsy breweries in Germany. Prost. That's really interesting. It definitely, the mouthfeel, this one, the first thing that I'm thinking about this beer, it doesn't have the same mouthfeel as a lager. It's definitely a bit heavier and more of an ale sort of mouthfeel that you get from this one. But I tell you something, it's very, very nice. Of course, the main thing is the aging process. The thing that makes lagers difficult to make is the sort of aging process, the lagering process that you have to put them through. But they've done a very nice job with this one. But the mouthfeel from what you would normally associate with a lager is very different. But you know, who cares as long as it tastes good? And it certainly does taste good. Oh yeah. That's a nice lager beer. I can see why this one is so highly rated actually. So with this beer, it really is interesting. You're getting a nice sort of dose of these American hops. It actually comes across as very, very juicy. You could almost be forgiven, I guess, for mistaking this beer as being a pale ale. If I tried this blind, I have to admit I would not think it was a lager, because one of the key giveaways with a lager, of course, usually can be the mouthfeel, and like I'm saying to you, this one is a little bit heavier in body than you would normally expect from a lager. And of course it is considerably more hoppy as well, that's the other thing. But yeah, there's a really interesting blend of flavours going on in this one. So you've got a sort of bready character that just blankets the middle of your palate there. You can feel a little bit of kind of slightly grainy character just on top of that, and some of the biscuity sweetness right in the middle of your tongue. There's maybe a little bit of a kind of slightly stronger caramel in the very middle of your palate too, and when the liquid is actually on your tongue, you can pick up just a little bit of that sort of sharp citricy character that you'd normally associate with sort of Brettanomyces. Of course, in this case though, it is the acidulated malt. One of the big breweries back in the UK for that, of course, is Magic Rock. They seem to love doing that. This is the first German brewery, of course, I found that have done it, unless some of the Berliner Weisses and things do use it as well. Yeah, that's a really, really nice lager beer. That, as I say, just to me it comes across completely differently from what you'd normally expect. So in the back corners of your palate, you've got a nice, slight little bit of earthiness. As you come further forward, more and more of the floral character starts to come out. It's got that lovely kind of typical German sort of noble hop character on the floral side of things. That's one of the things I really love about German beer. Probably one of my favourite styles of German beer is the Helles beer, and this one, if I tasted this blind, you know, I could be even, I probably would have maybe guessed, if I knew it was a German beer, I could probably tell from the mouthfeel it was a German beer. I would mistake this one maybe for being a Helles. It really is quite nice. But those lovely German noble hop floral characters are coming out of this one, and as you go round the front curve of your palate, you get that little bit of a kind of lighter, more grassy thing going on with the beer. It really just blends together very well, this one. It's a very, very easy drinking beer. I would love to try this on tap and just have a stein of it somewhere in Germany. It would be a lovely beer to do that with. It's really, you know, it is very, very well done. In terms of the fruity character that you get from this beer, remember I always tell you the fruity character comes out just behind the front curve of your palate there. You'll feel that little oily bubble, and that's where these nice fruity esters come out. But with this one, it is what you'd expect on the fruity side of things. There's a bit of passion fruit there, but mainly to me it's leaning more towards the citrus side of things. It's more of the mangoes that I'm getting out of it, and some of these kind of lighter notes that you get from the citrus, you know, a little bit of the gooseberry, maybe some of the lychees. It's actually got a little bit of kind of almost apricot-y character coming out of it as well. It's got these lighter, kind of slightly tropical fruit notes that you'd associate with the citra hop coming out of it, but it really is very nice. I think the floral character that's coming out of this one mainly is probably the pearl. I've had quite a few beers that have used pearl in them, and that it's almost it's a very lightly spicy character that's coming out of this one, and it's and that reminds me, I think it mainly is the pearl this one, but that said, it could be the smaragd as well. There might be a little bit of thing from that I'm not picking up so much on, but it could well be. There is just a little bit of spicy character in this one from the floral notes as you move into the aftertaste, but make no mistake about this one, this is a top quality beer, and on the basis of this one, I do want to try some of their other things. Yeah, that's really nice. They must have only used a little bit of the acidulated malt in this one, because it just comes out very, very briefly. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this beer, I'd say this one's mid-bodied. In terms of a lager beer, it's got a lot of body in it compared to what you'd normally associate with the style. Carbonation is very soft. It's got that typical kind of German Brauhaus sort of smoothness to it. It's got a very smooth character to it, this beer. It's almost a little bit creamy, to be honest with you, but it's slightly oily. It's got a good bit of wetness to it, but at the same time, the beer in the aftertaste, it does start to feel quite crisp because of the floral character you're getting from these noble hops, notably the pearl, I would think, coming out of this one. But it really is very nice. There's a good little bit of hoppy bitterness to it there. It's not going to blow your head in terms of IBUs or anything like that. It's not the most hoppy beer you're going to come across, but there is a nice little bit of bitterness that gives it the crisp character I'm talking about. There's a little bit of sweetness and smoothness from the malts in there as well, and there's a lot of that kind of juicy fruit character that you're getting from these American hops. But overall, a good way to conclude this beer is that it really is, it's very, very good. It's a high quality beer, and I can see why it's so highly rated within the premium lager style. I think it got a 98 or something within the style on Rate Beer. and to me that seems just about right. The lager beer, of course, is not one of the most kind of flavourful styles that you are normally going to get, but these guys are kind of proving this is what you can do when you brew this style, and I think they've done a great job with it. So yeah, this is a really, really good lager beer. If you want something that's kind of light and easy drinking, then I think this is one you're going to enjoy. If you enjoy a good German Helles beer that's quite hoppy, I think you are going to enjoy this one as well. To me, it does remind me of some of the Brauhaus Helles beers that I've had throughout Germany, particularly the ones I had in Heidelberg where they were using New Zealand hops in the beer as well. It does have a little bit of that character to it, but it's a top quality beer, and I definitely want to try and get a hold of some of their other beers as well. So hopefully they arrive up here in Sweden in Systembolaget, or hope maybe I can even do a trade with Peter at some point in the near future with these. But yeah, a very, very good beer, and if you get the chance to try this one, I highly recommend that you do. So yeah, until the next time, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Do please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what other beers I should be trying from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller. Of course, Peter gave me the recommendation of the double IPA to have a look at, so I will see if I can get a hold of that somehow for you. But this is a great beer, and if you get the chance, do have a look at it. Let me know what other beers and breweries I should be checking out in this kind of new wave of American style breweries that's hitting up in Germany, and do make sure you check out Peter's channel and have a look at some of his videos that look at these beers too. But a great beer, and I do hope that we can return to this brewery at some point in the near future. So make sure you check out the Bavarian from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller in Germany. Until the next time, Prost, and I'll catch you guys very, very soon. Cheers.